Hey folks, Dan Bird with the Daily Scan for the 22nd, Thursday. One more day left this week, and then we have a long weekend holiday, and then 4 days left in May for next week. So, following along with the metaphor yesterday where I showed the dog was rolling over, now we've got sit, stay, good boy. The market pauses. So, today it sort of stood still a little bit, which is good. It didn't go down. It didn't really go up much. Pretty much flat for the whole day. In fact, looking at the S&P was down 0.04 and the Dow was literally exactly even. And the NASDAQ 100 was up 0.15%. So pretty much a flat market today. As always, I am not a financial advisor, so this is all for educational purposes only. Let's take a look. By the way, for those that tuned in to my midday update, I will try to do those each day if I can. I can't do 1 minute, obviously. It was only about 4 minutes or so. So I'll try to keep it to 4 or 5 minutes. There's one thing that I wished I had done, but I'll show you that here in a minute. But first, let's take a look at the market bias, which is really interesting. It ticked down today. However, if you look at the matrix itself, you can see there's quite a few red ones over here in the short and midterm column, but there is one green one in the long-term column. So what that did was it turned the short and medium term to yellow, turned the long term to green, finally, after a really long time being in the yellow. Takes a long time for the long term to actually switch, but it actually moved to green today, even though the others rolled over. So you can look at the short term is orange, medium term is gray, and then the long term down here is yellow. And this is usually what happens. The short term starts first, the medium term next, and then the long term finally catches up eventually. So what does this mean? Is it finally rolling over? Are we starting to go down? Well, it's hard to say. But what is really interesting, and I'll show it to you here, is the reason that turned up today is because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin finally is solidly above that 106 level. You can see right here, it broke out yesterday, 2 days ago, actually, confirmed yesterday, and now it's at almost 111. The high today was almost 112. Pull back a little bit from the high, but had a really good day. But more importantly, take a look at this. After having a death cross over here where the 50 crosses the 200, today we got a golden cross on Bitcoin where the 50 crosses back above 200. So the media loves to talk about the death cross, and I covered it in, I think, a Technical Tuesday, probably way back here when this happened, beginning of April. But the media often does not talk about the golden cross. But that's what happened in Bitcoin today. It was the only one in the matrix charts. However, the other ones might catch up as a result. And if you'll notice over here on the bias matrix, we'll go back to that right here. That's why I put this here. That's in the long-term column. So when the long term is red, that is a death cross. When the long term is green, that is a golden cross. So you can see right here, Bitcoin just turned green. So we've got a golden cross. If any of these turn green, there'll be a golden cross in any of these categories over here. So that is very positive for the market. Let's take a look real quick at the daily, the 10-minute chart. Right down here, because for those that were watching when I did the midday update today, it was right about noon. And the market was heading higher. So you can see it right here, these green bars. This is a 10-minute chart, so each one of these are 10 minutes long. So these green bars right here at noon is when I did the midday update, and the market was heading higher and the VIX was heading lower. But right after that, and I said at the time, but I didn't know if it would continue to do that. But right after that, it pulled back. 1 o'clock, it started higher again and actually went even higher than the noon. But look at what happened in the last 20 minutes, basically. The market collapsed all the way back down close to the open. Now, this often happens at the end of the day. This is when market makers rebalance their books about 10 minutes till 4. So you can't necessarily read much into this very last bar right here. It needs confirmation with follow through on the next day, which is tomorrow. But you can see here the volume bars right at the very end of the day. This is the last 10 minutes. So at 3:50, it's when market makers rebalance their books. And you notice back here, that rebalancing sent it up. The next day it went down. This one here, it went up and it continued to go up. This day here, it went up and the next day it gapped lower. So you can't put much credence necessarily into that very last bar, that last 10-minute bar. You can see right there, went up and went down. Went up and went down. It's all volume. This one right here went down and the next day it went up. So one way you can kind of think of this is sort of like the options expiration that we talk about. If it's kind of the opposite to rebalance their books. If the market has been going higher, many times they'll take the opposite side of the position. So went lower. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but it did end near the low right here. So it could continue lower, it could go up, don't know, but you can't put a lot of credence into this one. Now the bar just before it had pretty good volume, and that was a red bar too. So that might carry forward into tomorrow. We shall see. If you look at the rotation indicators, technology has been, since yesterday, has been slowly selling off. Financials selling off, discretionary heading lower. If you look at both days, yesterday and today together, communication services actually went up at the beginning of the day and then started selling off. Industrials is still really strong, still hanging in there. Next is the sectors that are more defensive. Healthcare was flat. Staples started to move up. Energy kind of flat. Utilities started to move up, and materials moving up. So is this rotation? Is this beginning to take place with this red bar right here? We will have to wait till tomorrow to see if that's the case. But it's something to keep an eye on. And then finally, the sustainability ratios, growth versus value, had a nice run at the beginning of the day and then came back down right at the end. Same with discretionary versus staples, technology versus the S&P, semis, and internet stocks were pretty much flat for the day. So that's not telling us much other than right near the end of the day, these kind of rolled over. But we'll have to wait till tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is Friday and it's a long weekend. So many times traders like to go into a weekend flat, and they might do that. So we'll have to wait and see. One thing I want to announce for anybody that's interested, I will be doing a monthly Zoom call for subscribers only. So if you are interested in joining that, just subscribe. You can go to the homepage of the website, breakpointtrading.net, which is also where the YouTube channel is located. And at the very bottom of the page, you can sign up for either the monthly or the annual. Monthly gives you a free trial, but you'll be able to get into the Zoom call. And basically, I'll go over some new things. I'm going to talk about options a little bit, and then I'm going to open it up to questions from the audience, anything we want to cover. When you click on this, it takes you, if you are a subscriber, it will take you to the webinars and videos page and webinars and newsletters. And you just click on this button right here and you'll get the Zoom meeting. They do get recorded. So if you are a subscriber, you can see they run for quite a while, 2 hours, 3 hours, 2.5 hours. So this will be on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time for those that are interested. So far, there's been a pretty good attendance. I know that it's Memorial Day weekend, so the attendance might not be as much this weekend. We shall see. And if attendance starts dropping off, I'll just stop doing them. If nobody's interested, there's no point. But there's a lot of good information, a lot of really good questions that come out as well. And it's an opportunity to actually do things live, both with the charts themselves and also to teach folks how to use stock charts, which is a great platform, which I use all the time. All right, now let's go back over here. I want to actually go to the daily scan first. So one of the things that I wished I had done during the midday update, and I'm going to start doing it from now on, is looking at the scans that I get, and I've set up scans in stock charts to automatically alert me. So when something meets the criteria of the scans, it will send it. It will send it automatically to my email, and then I'll have a list of all of them. I'll show you that here in a minute. So my email is up. I'll show you the ones, and here's the one in particular. It's called a short squeeze scan. There's what it looks like. So this is what I get in my email each day, and I'll start looking at these during the midday update. And I wish I had looked at this one today, because this is a short squeeze alert on Rigetti Computing, which is a computing company, hardware company. So if I click on this, we'll take a look at the chart, and what you'll see is it had a really good run today. So there's certain criteria that is necessary in order for this to hit the scan. First of all, it has to be in the short squeeze scan list, which if you go to the chart list and scans page, for those that are subscribers, down here on the left-hand side, this is the short squeeze candidates, and you can see this is the criteria. Short interest has to be more than 20% of the float. Average volume is 250,000 shares. Market cap is 250 million. The universe is all US stocks, and it needs to be optionable. And in this case, there are only 45 stocks. Now, this is a scan that I run in my Schwab platform. So those that have Schwab could duplicate this, or you can just download the CSV file. So I put the CSV file here. I run this every week. Put the CSV file right here. You can download it right into your own platform if you want to, and you'll have these same 45 stocks. And then, or whatever number it is each week. You see the week before it was 44. So that's starting to go up. Now, once I have it in that chart list, then I run the scan against it, and that gives me, usually I don't get very many. So when this does happen, and I was sending an email out to folks, I haven't been doing that as much lately because I get these in the morning usually, and you have to watch out because it needs to stay up there. And in this case, it did. In fact, it stayed right near the high, right to the very end. In fact, if I look at this using the 10-minute chart right here, this is my 10-minute chart. You can see right here, just took off in the morning, huge volume, and then stayed right near the high. Right around 2 o'clock, it pulled back a little bit, but not very much. So these are really good candidates if you want to play short squeezes. They are risky strategy to play because you don't know if they're going to continue higher. The important thing about short squeezes is, in order for a short squeeze to really have an effect, it needs to be above where the shorts got in. So if we put a trend line on here, actually a resistance line at right about, let's do a horizontal line right about here. So you can see right there, right back in here, when this started to go down, shorts were already in it, but there even more shorts started entering when this went up and then started to roll over again. So all these shorts back here, they will not feel pain until the price gets above their entry point. And once they start feeling pain, there will be even more up here at this level, so at 20. But right here at 14, they'll start to feel pain in through here, and they will start covering. And once the shorts, and that's what creates a short squeeze. When they start to cover, that means they have to buy, and that pushes it up even more. So that's the thing to watch for. Watch this particular one if you like. This is quantum computing, by the way. So if you like that particular space, this is a short squeeze candidate. It's one to keep an eye on. Well, I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow. It could pull back again. Don't know. But if those shorts do start to cover, it'll push it up to 20. And if it gets to 20 and actually goes through that, even more, there will be even more shorts covering. So this is one that could potentially run quite a ways higher. So you can see up here, where the highs up here were 21. So right where those shorts started to come in right here. So again, I don't know what the short interest is. But I do know that it's more than 20%. I know that for sure because it wouldn't hit the scan if it wasn't. So that's one that hit, and the other one and the reason I'm going to start doing this each day at noon, because I get these usually in the morning. The other one is a bullish movement higher. You can see there are two on here, Moderna and Block. And if we look at Block, Block had a big sell-off right here. It looks like probably earnings. That's on May 1st. That was earnings. Pulled back, came back up, hit resistance, pulled back to the 21, and then today had a nice run higher right at the 21. And you can see here, it looks like volume is right at average. So this one might be ready to start to run higher. And that's what I usually like to see, something that had been doing well, pull back, and now might be starting to run a little bit. So this could be putting in a higher low right now, and then we have to see if it puts in a higher high. So anyway, those are the only two that hit that particular scan. The other one was Moderna, which I wasn't all that impressed with. Moderna. It just continues to go down. It's still below the 50-day moving average, so it's probably not one that I would jump into. But for today, there were only two that hit the scan, and I don't think there was one, and there was a bearish scan as well. So I'll show both of them. So on the bearish scan, you can see Solar Edge hit this one. And Solar Edge, which had been in a very nice run, and it's not earnings, so I'm not sure what the news was here. Earnings was back on the 6th, way back here, this gap up. It's pulled all the way back to the 50-day right now. So something happened today that caused it to pull all the way back. Let's go over and look on the charts page and take a look at renewable energy, just out of curiosity to see if we see something there. Renewable energy was in the top 10 last week. Big, huge downtrend. So this is what's happened this week. Solar Edge probably was delayed, but had a big sell-off today. So after a huge run higher, you can see renewable energy. This will not be in the top 10 for sure this week. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So even though it had not gone below this big candle right here, the rest of this week it's just gone down. So it will definitely not, it could even be in the bottom 10 next week. So that's what renewable energy looks like. Not looking too good. Started a nice run, but now it's reversed considerably. All right, so I wanted to show you those. The last thing I'll do is just take a look at, I want to look at the VIX real quick to see what it's been doing today. And as well as the 10-day put call ratio, you can see that is just leveled off down here. So when it gets down below this particular red line, which is at 0.52, this means everyone is bullish. So that's usually where tops form. We're starting to roll over. I talked about rolling over yesterday. And The VIX today was above 20, 20.28 to be precise. And just a little bit above 20. So, but it is above 20 right now. So the market's coming down as a result. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. There's the 10-year. 10-year actually started higher, but closed lower. Actually closed right almost where it opened yesterday. So that's the other one that we should keep an eye on. See if the 10-year will continue to perform well. Let's look at that on a 10-minute chart. So there's the VIX. Actually, it didn't show the 10-year on this particular chart. So I'm not sure what it did at the end of the day. At any rate, that's what things look like there. We can real quick run the scan again. Here's Micron. For those that had asked about this, it's rolling over just like the market. You can see kind of a slow motion rollover. It's if you draw a trend line right across these tops, roughly pretty much where the 200-day moving average is. It's got 2 days in a row with a shooting star, which means those are failed breakouts. Stock went up, and by the end of the day came all the way back down and closed below the open. That happened twice. So that's an indication, and all the momentum is starting to roll over. So that's an indication that it may be pulling back. So let's take a look at the scan real quick, and I'll look at optional bull, see if there's anything. There's Moderna and there's Block. Talked about those. Peloton made the list before the end of the day. Peloton's got a really nice candle. Looks like they had a really good day today. Earnings were on the 8th, so it's not earnings related. So Peloton actually looks pretty interesting. It actually has a squeeze too right now. So that one actually might be heading higher. Let's take a look at the bearish side of that. These are optionable. These are weekly options, by the way. These are stocks that have weeklies. This is the bearish side. So DraftKings is on there, continuing to head lower for those that like to play options to the downside. Home Depot, Lowe's, McDonald's. These all look very similar. Heading down. Qualcomm. Here's SolarEdge that I showed you before. Big gap down. AT&T just starting to move lower. Verizon moving lower. Walmart's just hanging in there. It's sitting right at the 21, so reversion to the mean basically. So Walmart actually has a squeeze on it as well. So that could imply that it might fire to the downside. We'll see. Although this downtrend the last 3 or 4 days has been on very light volume. So that's a good thing. So I wouldn't read too much into that on Walmart. And then utilities, definitely going down, heading lower. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned tomorrow, right around noon. I'm not sure exactly what time I'll be able to do it, but I'll try to do about 5 minutes at noon to see what the market's doing and give you some information. I actually used Thinkorswim today, and I showed the S&P futures on that. I'm going to show you a little bit more about futures for anyone that's interested in futures. I don't recommend it. You have to have number one, a particular mindset for futures. Number two, you have to really know what you're doing. Takes very precise entry and exits. In fact, in general, you should probably use trend lines instead of indicators for entries and exits. For futures, you can make a lot of money if you're right, but you can lose a ton of money if you're wrong, and blow up your portfolio if you're not careful. So it's not something. If anyone's interested in futures, I'll show more about it tomorrow. I would highly recommend doing some phantom trading before you actually jump in with real money. So that's my recommendation. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. And if you have anything you want me to look at, or if there's anything during the midday update that anyone is interested in seeing that will not take very long to do, because I will only have about 5 minutes, let me know if there's anything of interest that you'd like to see. All right. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Take care.